Manu here. I'm gonna be looking at Sandman and see about tearing him a new asshole. Time to grab some bleach or drain cleaner. I'll go get the battery acid.
Hi everyone, Sandman here. This video is brought to you by a donation from Steven, and he wants me to do a response video to a guy that ironically calls himself the pinnacle of man, while bashing men going their own way. How ironic is that? I've put a link in the description to the Truth Behind MiGT0w video where he says this, and I quote, "The truth behind MiGT0w is they actually say they want freedom, but the underlying psychological cause is an avoidance of vulnerability and intimacy. Unanimously, men that are in these types of groups that are victims inevitably have been hurt," unquote.
Yeah. The true irony is that MiGT0w claims to be about individuality and freedom, while well-known MiGT0w figures promote collectivism and are very authoritarian in nature. Another issue is that there is a victim narrative, that men are the victims while the women's get off scot-free. They encourage narcissism and blaming others. If you are self-actualized, you aspire to be a better person and you know when to take responsibility for your own faults. The monks are teaching people to project their own personality flaws onto women, just like how feminism teaches women to project their flaws onto men. That's why there are anti-MiGT0w people out there. They realize that MiGT0w has been perverted, like feminism, and encourages narcissism, projection, and a victimhood mentality. Also, not every single woman is a feminist. If you look up Phyllis Schlafly, Phyllis Schlafly, you will read that she is a conservative and is staunchly anti-feminist and staunchly anti-abortion.
So Pinnacle of Man, your video oddly sounds like my Monks of MiGT0w video that I made while I was still dating. So I was a MiGT0w that was dating and being intimately involved with women.
Yeah, so? If you're in relationships with women, is that such a crime? You have free will. Don't let the monks bully you. If you make a decision that others disagree with, stand up and defend your choice. Good women won't hate you or punish you for making independent decisions, and defending them and standing up for them. Someone once described the bad women as beta females. They are flawed without trying to better themselves. More often than not, they are narcissistic gold-digging harlots who are often overlooked by the good men, the alpha men, if you will. As such, they are usually the ones who complain, "Where have all the good men gone?" And then the same guy called the good women alpha females, and that they were the prime specimens. They were intelligent, kind, compassionate, thoughtful. You can't just chase someone based on looks or money. You have to look for someone who is also good and kind. They have strong principles, and they're not afraid to say something that's unpopular, and they're not afraid to try new ideas and listen.
According to you, that doesn't happen because men going their own way avoid vulnerability and intimacy. How could that be possible? I think you don't understand that there are different types of men going their own way out there.
Yes, there are men out there who want relationships with women, but then when we tell you about that, or you find out about it, you guys will pull a no true Scotsman fallacy and then say, "They're not true, MiGT0w." They are true. They make their own decisions and carve out their own paths, while you insist on conforming to the cool crowd of monks and celibates and genuine, legitimate misogynists. You are adding fuel to the fire of feminism. You are the boogeyman of feminism.
At different levels. Some date while others have gone complete MiGT0w monk mode and don't date anyone anymore, not because they're afraid of intimacy, but because they've grown sick and tired of dealing with the hoops that women put us through for a glimpse of their saggy fupas.
Well, that and practicing to be fascists or whatnot. For being the pinnacle, the role models, the inspiration of a movement that free will and freedom take precedence, they are insanely authoritarian. They attack, they bully, and silence dissenters. Censorship. They false flag videos as a form of censorship. And they try and ban dissenters. They even go so far as to make death threats, all the while wondering, "Gee, why do they hate MiGT0w?" Remind me, oh wise monks.
I stopped dating women not because I'm afraid of intimacy, but because of the mind games and emotional manipulation that women put me through. Also, assuming that it's only men going their own way that put up emotional walls so you can't get hurt anymore isn't really all that accurate.
Nice picture, Sandman. Sandman's not only projecting, but he's most likely gaslighting men who aren't MiGT0w. He's manipulating the target audience by lying, fabricating, denying information, or probably taking it out of context. While this may not be intentional, YouTubers like him and the MiGT0w forums and subreddits had me questioning my sanity and judgment.
That's not a MiGT0w thing. It's a man thing as well as a woman thing. Only a mangina takes down the emotional barrier between himself and a woman and leaves himself with no protection. Nothing in nature is accidental. If men are emotionally closed off against women, that's not something that men are doing wrong. In fact, it's a natural response to women that are trying to figure out our emotional states and exploit them. Women want us to be vulnerable and quote-unquote open up so they can take advantage of us.
No, you idiot. They want to get to know you. Tell me, would you get into an intimate relationship with a total stranger? Would you want to have children by that stranger? Would you trust the stranger with all your heart, even though you knew nothing about them? I wouldn't. And as for manginas, only a mangina would fall for a beta female and trust her even though she's a total stranger. Make broad, sweeping generalizations without empirical evidence to back them up, and yet when we call you out, the others play the no true Scotsman card. It's okay when we exploit the women's, because they're meanies. It's okay for us to do one-night stands and ditch them. Boy, you gotta love that doublethink.
That's what shit testing is all about. It has nothing to do with being a MiGT0w. Cucks are guys that listen to women and pull down their defenses and let the women chop them down in half with a lightsaber. But real men, the types that were around before the 1980s and 90s, didn't open up and get therapy or even talk about their feelings. Those guys had the pain of manual labor and war to deal with. They didn't have the time or energy to deal with emotional savagery from women. You're right that MiGT0w came from a place of pain and anguish. The pain of thinking,
Finally! Something we both agree on! Listen, the reason why these men got women is because they were gentlemen. Gentlemen are not cucks, because they are cultured and polite, but yet they are independent and they stand by their convictions and principles. And those women were ladies. They were cultured and polite, and they too were taught to respect other human beings. A lot of people nowadays were never taught to be ladies or gentlemen, nor were they ever taught to respect others. They have an entitlement complex, and this is the problem. They set their standards impossibly high while doing nothing to deserve the love or affection of another person.
Thinking about how a woman you love can basically take all your shit away, as well as your kids at any time, and you're powerless to stop it. You live in fear of that happening at any moment if you're married with children. It is the rational man that identifies potential threats and won't let women exploit them. It has nothing to do with men being free to experience the image of love that's projected in Disney fairy tales. Unfortunately, it's men that buy into the Disney fairy tales far more than women.
You're painting a picture that men fall for the romanticized depiction of a relationship, when a lot of women that watch romantic comedies are given this absurd notion, in which they should find a prince charming, therefore they set their standards too high. Dr. Shame mentioned this in his 36 Stupid Feminist Questions Answered video. The relevant snippet begins 50 seconds in and ends 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. I'll give a link in the description. And I can't provide a citation because this is just a hypothesis. I have no way of testing it. And I have no idea if a study has ever been done on this. If you can find such a study or can test this hypothesis, please tell me. I'm not bashing women. I'm bashing the entitlement complex that people have fallen for these days. Cultural Marxism, feminism. They've all taught us to have the narcissism and an entitlement complex. These have got to go.
You also say that men going their own way see themselves as victims. That's clearly not the reality. It's the MRAs or men's rights activists that see themselves as victims, always complaining about the laws and trying to get them changed, unsuccessful-y.
You do have a victimhood complex. You do have a persecution complex. You think that there is a secret gynocentric elite that have corrupted the legal system. It's not the gynocentric elite. It's cultural Marxism and feminism that have corrupted the legal system. It's no different from the feminism's patriarchy. You just substitute patriarchy with gynocentric elite. That's what MiGT0w is, or has rather become. It's become a parallel to third-wave feminism, and you are plagued by cognitive dissonance. Contrary to what you say about men's rights activists, they are making headway. Fathers are actually gaining the upper hand in some custody battles. I see. You expect instant gratification. Not happening.
We don't complain about the laws, we simply avoid them. We are about personal empowerment.
Bad choice of words. Avoiding the law? Sounds like you just committed a crime. Did you rob a bank? Did you murder someone? Breaking and entering? You do complain about the law and the supposed gynocentric elite, all the while wearing your tinfoil hats. Remind me of how being a whiny, paranoid, butthurt little sissy is so empowering.
You also say that guys that are MiGT0w are pretty much older guys that have gotten divorced and had their kids taken away. But the majority of men going their own way are in their 20s and 30s, and were probably never married and use MiGT0w as a way to validate their decisions.
If they were truly self-actualized, they wouldn't need MiGT0w in the first place. The reason MiGT0w has to spread is because they are fighting against natural selection. Humanity is subconsciously weeding them out of the gene pool. Anyways, congratulations. You lot have probably ruined their lives with your damned gaslighting and well poisoning. More special snowflakes coming right up! Damn it, I lost the signal. Don't worry, it'll come back soon. I'm pretty sure.
For making the same mistakes over and over again like I did before, I arm myself with knowledge. So when I originally found MiGT0w, I thought these guys have some great advice about women to help me date them. Then I realized that their arguments led me in the completely opposite direction.
No. You armed yourself with a tinfoil hat. And by arguments, you mean ad hominems, red herrings, strawmen, logical fallacies that would make a cultural Marxist proud? Genius!
I wasn't left by a woman and I didn't think I was cheated on either. I wasn't a butthurt little boy like you call MiGT0ws in your video. I was dazed and confused by my experiences and needed to make sense of them, so I didn't throw away another 15 to 20 years of my life away on women that didn't love me and were pretty much only interested in their own selfish goals. I wish that someone had told me what the men of MiGT0w did when I was 20 years old, because then I would have had a very different life. I would have had multiple paid-off properties and enough money to retire. If I didn't lose those 15 good years of my life because I saw women as equals in every way to men, I would have grown in other ways. Also, shame on you for calling us boys.
Nice try, but we're not ashamed. We're calling you out. You're hypocritical. You shame men who want to be with women, but then you get butthurt and sore when we shame you for your malicious behavior towards others. And when we point this out. Oh, I see. It's that good old doublethink again. It's okay when we do it. Hypocrites.
That's the oldest trick in the book, trying to motivate men by shaming us. It doesn't work on MiGT0w men.
No, you don't say. What a big fucking surprise. Traversable fucktard doxes his opponents and accuses them of pedophilia, and angry MiGT0w once doxed Jeff Holiday and his son, simply because he lost a debate. Red Pill Ghost made death threats and flagged videos just to silence his opponents. So it goes without saying you are indeed shameless.
I bet that you're hoping that some of us will listen to your words and they will work on us so you can possibly get yourself some new clients. Because let's face it, you're in the business of getting men together with women as a dating and pickup coach.
You are in the business of continuously destroying marriage and the family in Western society. You are literally helping the feminists do just that. And you're adding fuel to their fire.
Some of your top and soon-to-be classic videos include Bumble Like a Boss, How to Tinder Like a Boss, How to Regain Trust in a Relationship, This is the Best Pickup Line, How to Flirt with Girls, etc. I could go on and on. The truth is, your YouTube channel is all about teaching men to interact with women. If men go MiGT0w monk mode and choose not to interact with women entirely, then your entire channel doesn't have a reason to exist. That's what this is all about.
You are in the business of continuously destroying marriage and the family in Western society. You are literally helping the feminists do just that. And you're adding fuel to their fire.
If your channel is about making fun of Lacey Green and she gets red-pilled, then you lose your talking points and your source of income. You have those young and idealistic eyes like a doe that look like you're about to get hit by a Mack truck in Disney's Bambi. But I suspect that those are just an act to get people to empathize with you because those same eyes don't appear to be seen in your other videos. It's like you're babying the so-called butthurt MiGTOWs because you think we have fragile egos. The truth is you're probably putting on an act trying to tap that big MiGTOW market. You're probably thinking, wow, hundreds of thousands of men that can basically be used as a captive audience and maybe make me some coaching sales.
Yeah. You act like overgrown children, throwing temper tantrums when someone disagrees with you. You expect instant gratification, you think women owe you, and you are selfish and have no empathy. You are no better than the feminists.
You say that it's in our nature to want to be loved and respected, which is true, but we shouldn't trade love and sex for our freedom. That's what men getting married are doing by risking marriage. There's a famous line that goes something like this: those willing to trade their freedom and security for peace deserve neither of those things. And I say those men willing to trade their freedom for sex, love, and procreation deserve none of those things either. In the past, men used to be able to lower their emotional walls because they knew the woman couldn't just leave them because she smelled her cat fart and thought that it was you, so she decided to divorce you for literally no reason at all.
Error 404, brain not found. Marriage is not an act of servitude, despite feminism's best efforts. They may have transformed divorce into a death trap, but if you truly love someone, you want to stay with them for the rest of your life. How shallow you MiGTards and femtards are. To see those that you love as a means to an end, seeing them through an entirely materialistic perspective, thinking everything's about money or power when it's not. If you're a monk or a feminist, grow the fuck up!
That's the power women have these days. Just because a man doesn't have a girlfriend if he's a MiGTOW monk or a wife if he's a MiGTOW doesn't mean he's isolated or depressed. Many men enjoy their own company and are actually in love with the peace and quiet that comes from not having a pet wife around the house. You're right, Josh, a shitty thing did happen to me. It was called a relationship. I learned to rise up above it by basically not putting myself through that torture ever again. Instead, I'm working more, traveling more, exploring my mind more. That's how I'm rising up in my life, and I'm finally basically living my life and not being held back. Yes, I'm holding myself off from love intentionally. There's a reason why I don't actually want to love anymore. I become a cuck when I'm in love.
Why the fuck did it take you so long to mention what the problem was? Well, now we know. Why didn't you just come out in the beginning? Being a cuck is the problem, but that makes it part of the solution. You need to have a backbone. Be strong and independent. Be yourself. Don't conform. Don't let her have absolute control over you, but control yourself. Self-control. Now that the why part of the question has been answered, I'll fire up my TARDIS, go back to when you wanted a relationship, give you the relevant data, and problem solved.
Real men don't love because it makes us weak and we hesitate. We become white knights for women when we love, and I experience this while dating and simultaneously going my own way. Isn't it absolutely mind-blowing that a man can be going his own way and dating at the same time?
You're projecting your flaws onto every single man on Earth. Newsflash, we're not you. Instead of projecting or blaming every single woman on Earth for your problems, why don't you take a step back, look in the mirror, and reflect upon your flaws and how you can fix them?
You have no idea what you're talking about. Let's talk again when you hit 35 or 40. The truth about MiGTOW is that it's actually growing quickly and we're going to make up 50% of the male population in the West in coming decades. Too bad for you because it'll become harder and harder to become a dating coach. Maybe you should try coaching female clients instead. At least you know they won't be giving up on trying to find a man to make their lives easier for them at his expense, of course. The truth is that MiGT0w is an unstoppable force at this point, and men all over the world are reaching the same conclusion.
Not good. Not good. Well, this is it, men. Welcome to 1984, lads. Watch out what you say or think, because if the thought police, monks, catch you committing wrongthink, it's off to the gulag with you, comrade.
If you give women equality, they will take power from you and destroy you. There's a reason why women have been so-called oppressed for most of history. Men knew that if they gave power to women, the women would destroy the government, economy, themselves, as well as men. Men going their own way are just distancing themselves from that destruction, and we see that it's not going to end well. You simply don't get it. It's not that we aren't willing to take down our emotional walls. Many of us, especially the monks, are taking ourselves completely off the market because we understand that relationships are a huge waste of time.
Okay, good point. I'll grant you that matriarchal societies are the most backwards and primitive societies on Earth, but your technology, end to slavery, milestones in human rights achievements, and art, music, and culture are all evidence that you do not live in a gynocentric or matriarchal society. See, if society was truly gynocentric or matriarchal, you would still be living in grass huts, hunting with spears and clubs, dressed in animal skins. You would still be hunter-gatherers. Anyways, as for taking yourselves off the market, if you don't have siblings or relatives willing to start a family on their own, your bloodline ends. Sucks to be you.
As well as a source of big regrets. When you ask people on their deathbed what their greatest regret in life was, it's almost always that the person didn't actually follow their own dreams and let other people like you, Josh, shame them for making decisions about their life that they didn't want to make in the first place.
Citation needed. Well, that's done. And for the next few minutes, he basically goes off topic and talks about his YouTube analytics. And speaking of YouTube, a development has occurred. Zephanorian's account has been wrongfully terminated without reason. Zeph and I both suspect some idiot falsely flagged his channel. This is censorship, and we do not approve of it. We do not go around false flagging those who we disagree with. If the flagger happens to be a monk, then you have just proven our point that you are hypocritical. You claim to support individuality, independence, and free will, but yet you are authoritarians who attack and threaten severe harm against anyone who simply disagrees with you. A monk even made death threats against one of my friends. You threatened him, you attacked all of us. We do not tolerate this malicious behavior, and we will not tolerate it. We don't care what you believe, but being MiGT0w does not make you immune to criticism, nor does it give you a free pass to censor and threaten your opponents. To the normal people out there, consider this quote from Jean Voltaire. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize. See you later, and take care.